Hello, good morning. I am going to wait for the students. Um, so today the topic for today is the session number 7, and let's see. Okay, I am going to wait a little bit. Hello, Laura and Diana. How are you today?
Hello, teacher.
Hello, teacher. I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. So we are going to wait a little bit for the rest. Okay, so 5 minutes.
Okay.
You can turn your microphone off, please. Hello, Carlos. How are you today?
Good morning, everybody. I'm pretty good, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to wait a little bit for the other student, and we can start the class, okay?
Okay.
You can turn your microphone off.
Okay, no problem,
Okay.
teacher. Yeah.
Okay, I think we can start right now the session for today. We have the topic, here. So the topic for today is present perfect. This is a continuation of our tenses that we saw. So We saw, I think, past tense, the simple tense, and now we are going to start with the perfect present or present perfect, okay? So this topic is a little bit complicated, but I know you can do it because we have to. So we are going to start the lesson. Let me share my screen. Okay. So this is our session number 7. And the present perfect tense is used with finished actions, past event and present results. She has lost her wallet. Present completed actions. I have just finished my project. Unfinished actions. Duration from past until now. Multiple actions at different times. I have seen David several times. Changes over time. I have become more interested in medical issues. Accomplishment. Man has walked on the moon. And life experience. Have you ever eaten sushi before? So, in the present perfect tense, we are going to use the verbs that we have in the list in the past participle, okay? So I have a video here with the explanation, and I am going to share with you.
Welcome to English Grammar Spot. This lesson is about the present perfect. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to form a present perfect and when to use a present perfect. But before we get started, it's good to know how to conjugate the verb to have. For the singular forms, I have, you have, he has, she has, it has. And for the plural forms, we have, you have, they have. It's also good to know that in the English language there are regular and irregular verbs, and it is advisable that you study the most commonly used irregular verbs. Now let's get started. Take a look at these sentences. I've painted the door yellow. They've paid for dinner themselves. Both these sentences are in the present perfect tense. How to form a present perfect? Let's have a look at the regular verbs. For the regular verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle. You can make a past participle by adding ed to the infinitive form of the verb. Now let's have a look at these singular forms. I have worked there. You've listened carefully. He has cleared the table. He has placed it on the floor. It has snowed. For the plural forms, we have walked to school. You have watched the tennis match. They have marked the tests. Now we need to pay extra attention to verbs that end in an E, such as live, close, and wipe. For these verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle, but the past participle is made by simply adding a D to the verb. Look at the examples. I've lived here for quite some time now. He has closed the window. They have wiped the floor. We also need to pay attention to verbs that end in a Y, especially those preceded by consonants, such as spy and study, because we change the Y into an I. For example, he has spied on his neighbours, and we have studied hard. Now let's have a look at the irregular verbs. For the irregular verbs, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle, but for the irregular verbs, the past participle has a unique present perfect form. Take a look at the examples. I've built that shed with my own 2 hands. The infinitive form of the verb is to build with a D. She has bought some flowers at the market. The infinitive form of the verb is to buy. We have run the marathon. The infinitive form of the verb is to run. Now let's have a look at the present perfect in questions. First, for the regular verbs. Again, we use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle. Has she talked to him yet? Have you kicked the ball? Have they ever worked on a farm? For the irregular verbs, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle, but now the unique present perfect form. For example, has she quit her job yet? Have you ever driven a car? Have they ever paid for dinner? Let's have a look at the present perfect in negations. For the regular verbs, again the auxiliary verb to have, and we add not, contracting it into haven't or hasn't, and the past participle. I haven't listened. It hasn't rained since they haven't closed the. For the irregular, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and not, contracting it into haven't and hasn't, and the past participle. For example, she hasn't quit her job. The infinitive form of the verb is to quit. You haven't ever driven a car. The infinitive form of the verb is to drive. And they haven't paid for dinner. The infinitive form of the verb is to pay. Now let's have a look at the present perfect in use. We use the present perfect for things that happened in the past, but it is not important when they happened. I've been to Scotland. It's not important when I've been there. It's important that I've been to Scotland. They've decided to buy a car. It's not important when they decided it. The decision alone is important. We also use the present perfect for things that started in the past, but that have continued in the present. For example, Bob and Jack have known each other for ages. For example, they met in the 1970s and they are still friends. They have lived there since 2011, so they moved there in 2011 and they've continued to live there. We also use the present perfect when the following words are in a sentence: for, yet, never, ever, just, already, since. Here are some examples. I've lived here for 3 years. We haven't seen that film yet. Have you ever watched a football game? I thank you for your attention. For regular updates, please subscribe to YouTube.
Okay, this is the video and some explanations about this topic. The present perfect has in the present have or has, depend of the person that you are talking about. So for a third person, we use has. For the rest, we use have, okay? Plus the third form of the verb. This is really important. We need to use the third person of the verb. With the regular verbs, we use ed at the end of the verb. But with the irregular, we need to check which one is the verb in third form, okay? So we use the present perfect when something happened is not important. So, for example, I have seen the Eiffel Tower, for example. So this is something that is not important. For unfinished time periods, I have eaten 10 pizzas this week. So also we use for accomplishment and experience. I have written 2 books and run 6 marathons, okay? Connection to now. So this is really important. This is the difference between the past tense, because this is actions with start in the past and continue now. But when we are talking about in the past tense, the action finish in the past. This is the difference between this time and with this tense than the other that we saw before, okay? So now I have some grammar here about the present perfect tense. So the present perfect tense is used to describe an action or situation that start in the past and continued in the present. So I have lived in Bristol since 1984 and still do. So this is the time that started in the past but continued right now in the present. An action performed during a period that has not yet finished. She has been to the cinema twice this week, and the week isn't over yet. So the week is continued right now. A repeated action in a specific period between the past and now. We have visited Portugal several times. An action that was completed in the very recent past expressed by just. I have just finished my work. An action when the time is not important. He has read War and Peace. The result of his reading is important. Okay? When we want to give or ask details about when, where, who, we use the simple past. Okay? We saw the simple past some in the before, but this is about the present perfect tense. So remember, the present perfect tense starts in the past, but is continuous right now. Okay, so we have some examples here. Actions start in the past and continue in the present. They haven't lived here for years. She has worked in the bank for 5 years, and she still is working in the bank. We have had the same car for 10 years. Have you played the piano since you were a child? So when the time period referred to has not finished. I have worked hard this week. So here we have the period, week. It has rained a lot this year, and the year still is right now. We haven't seen her today, okay? So this is a reference with the time period. Action repeat in a specific period between the past and now. They have seen that film 6 times. It has happened several times already. She has visited them frequently. We have eaten at that restaurant many times. So we have here many times, several times, frequently. This is a specific period, okay? And repeated actions. Actions complete in the very present past, plus just. Have you just finished work? I have just eaten. We have just seen her. Has he just left? When the precise time of the action is not important or not known. We don't know the action when it's happened. Someone has eaten my soup. Have you seen Gone with the Wind? She's studied Japanese, Russian, and English. Okay, we don't know the time of these phrases. So this is the present perfect. Okay, when we form in the present perfect of any verb is composed of 2 elements. The appropriate form of the auxiliary verb to have, plus the past participle of the main verb. The past participle of a regular verb is base plus ed. For example, played, arrived, looked. For irregular verbs, we can see a table, and they are changing in the third person, in the third, but some of them, they don't change. We need to check the third form of the verb, okay? So we have here the affirmative phrase. So we use the subject. In this case, she has visited. So we use the subject, in this case, the third person, plus has, this is the use for the third person, has, and the past participle or the third form of the verb, visit. We are using here a regular verb, okay? Negative, she has not or hasn't visit. The same thing. We use has plus not. In interrogative, we use first has plus the subject, she, and the past participle, visit, okay? Has she visit? In negative interrogative, we use hasn't. She, the subject, visit, so we use hasn't. Okay. Here we have another example with the all persons that we can use. So we use I have walked in affirmative. I have walked. Have plus the verb, the third form of the verb. In this case, this is a regular verb. Negative. I haven't walked. I have plus not plus the verb in third form. And the interrogative. Have I walked? So we have here, have first plus subject plus the verb in third form, okay? So we have another one here. You have walked. You haven't walked. We have the negative here. In interrogative, have you walked? So he, she, or it, we use has for the third person. So he, she, or it, depends on the case, has walked. We use also the verb in third form. He, she, or hasn't, we use has not, okay? Has not walked, the same thing, the third form of the verb. Remember, this third form of the verb never change. When we use present perfect, always we use the third form of the verb, even to make interrogative or negative or affirmative, okay? So we use always the verb in third form with the list. So you need to start to study this list and start to use this third form of the verb with the present perfect. I know it's hard and it's a tough task, but we need to do it because always we need to use different kind of verbs, depends of the case and depends of the phrase. So this is really important. We need to start to study these verbs and this list. So I will send this word presentation and you can start to study this list. And you can also start to make some exercise about it, okay? So remember, you need to use the subject plus the have or has, depends of the case, and the verb in third form, okay? This is the grammar important for phrases in present perfect. Okay, let's see. This is the explanation of the grammar. So, do you have any questions? Hello, Tito.
Hello, teacher. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Do you have any question about the topic for today?
No, teacher.
Okay. Dayana, do you have any question?
No, teacher, I don't have.
Okay, Carlos? Carlos, do you have any question?
I don't, teacher.
Okay, so I know this topic is a little hard and tough, and we need to start to use it because always we need to describe situations and, like I mentioned before, experience. So let me share again my screen. And I have here another video. This video, I want you to pay attention because it's she's talking about something about the present perfect and the difference between the past simple. So I want you to pay attention, but the topic is the present perfect, okay?
Perfect, okay? So, first of all, let me move it to the middle. What does it look like being past participle? Past participle. What is that? What is the past participle? Okay. Yeah, the third one, right? So we have the present, the base form, right? Base form. This one's called the simple past. But the third one is called the past participle, right? Just like speak is the base form. What's the past? Spoken. And spoken. Great. Okay. How do you know those? Well, we have a really nice list of those in our books. And you guys just please know that they are here in the appendix at the end of your book. They're great. You should study them. I'll also put those on Quizlet so you can just practice them on Quizlet. So we have plus the past participle of a verb, right? But is it just have or can it be has? It can also be has, right? Okay. So it looks like this, right? So she has read a book, okay? That's the affirmative. How do I make it negative? She hasn't read. Good. So you just, what do you do to make it negative? You just add not. You don't need to add a helping verb. You just add not after the helping verb. You don't need to add another helping verb, right? How do I make a yes/no question? Has she read a book? Good. So helping verb first, and then the main verb's over here, right? Verb subject, right? How do I make a WH question? Why has she read it? What? Why has she read? Why has she read a book? Perfect. Okay. So you can do that, right? But how do you know when to use it? How do you know when to use it? Something happened or continue to present. Okay, there's two times. There's two reasons why we use the present perfect. Two. And they're both, I think students confuse them a lot. Okay. So the first reason why we should use the present perfect is just like the present perfect progressive. Okay. So to explain an action that started in the past and to the present or even future, okay? It's the same. The only thing that's different is that usually you're going to use this one for the non-action verbs. Yeah, non-action. Because you can't use non-action verbs with ing, right? You can't say, I have been knowing English for 2 years, right? You can't say that. Why not?
Because non-action. The no is not.
Yeah, that's non-action. So you can't. But this is the same thing as the present perfect progressive. So
we can use the non-action.
you can't use the non-action with ing, right? But you can use it with present perfect. And present perfect is have or has, just past participle, no ing. So how can we say this sentence with
I have done English for
okay, but this works, right? That means in the past, I started to know English, right? 2 years ago, actually. Here's now. I continue to know English until now. It started in the past and continues. Does that make sense? Right? I have known English for 2 years. And maybe, hopefully, right? I'll know it tomorrow and the next day. Yes?
For the action verb, how we can understand use past perfect or past
The present perfect or the past perfect progressive. So,
for action verb.
okay, so what I always tell for an action verb, so like run or live or read, right? I always tell my students, if you're focusing on how long something has happened, you should always use present perfect progressive. This is always going to tell you how long, right? So if you're focusing on the time, 2 years, 1 month, 2 days, 4 semesters, then use the present perfect progressive. But for the present perfect, if you're not focusing on how long, there's a different use for it. Okay, so if you're focusing on how long, use the present perfect progressive. Okay, if the verb is an action verb. Okay, like I have been reading for 2 years. This is an action. It's better to use this than this. This one's better than this one. Why? Because we're focusing on how long. How long? 2 years, right? They're both grammatical, but this one's better because it's this form. So when we're focusing on how long, use this one unless it's non-action. Okay? That's what I just try to tell people. There's more reasons, but most of the time, the best choice is this one if it's an action verb and you're focusing on how long. But both are correct. Yes, both are correct. Both are correct. Yeah, this one is going to be more common if we're focusing on how long. Okay. Yes, that's right. You can use both. Yeah, they both have the same meaning. But let me point out something important. The only time this means this, the only time this means this is when you're using it with since or for, okay? If you're using it with since or for, it means this, okay? So again, for example, she has known English for 2 years. How long? 2 years. 2 years. And we're using for. When do we use for again? With a how long, right? A duration. I can also use since. She has known English since 2 years. You have to use a specific time in the past. 2014, right? Okay. Now, if I take away the since and for, watch what happens. Now, okay, now this doesn't mean the same thing, okay? This just means it happened in the past. She knew English in the past. It's done. Maybe now she still does, maybe not. Maybe it's not continuing anymore, okay? So it's very important if you use since and for with the present perfect, it means that it's continuing, right? But if you don't, it has a totally different meaning. So if you use the present perfect without since and for, it means a finished action in the past with an indefinite time. What does indefinite mean? Indefinite means not specific. Not specific, okay? So let me give you another example. How long have I been talking? Maybe 2 hours, feels like. The instructor has spoken for 30 minutes, right? What does this mean when I say has spoken, present perfect? That means this, finished? No. I'm using for and since, so what does it mean?
It's started past or continuing.
It means now. Started in the past, continues till now. Why? Because I have for. When I use the present perfect with for, it means the action started in the past and continues until future. Now, what?
It's very close to progressive.
Right, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as the progressive. The instructor has been speaking for 30 minutes. Has been speaking. Exactly the same. These two are exactly the same. Which one should you use? Which one's better? This one.
First one.
Yeah, the first one, because it's an action verb and we're talking about how long. So it's better to use that one. But what if I say, oops. If I don't put since or for, then it means, and I use present perfect, but no since, no for. What does that mean? It's finished.
Near to past.
Yes. So remember, this is without since and for. Okay. So no since, no for. Right. This is with.
What's different between this sentence and the instructor spoke?
Okay, good. And that's a question I'm gonna do that at the very end. But what does this mean, you guys? Instructor has spoken. What does that mean?
Like she's spoken already.
It's done. Do we know when she talks?
No.
Because it's indefinite. Okay. The time doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's finished, right? Or for example, she has been to Rome. Okay. She has been to Rome. That's a great thing. That's a cool experience to have in your life. Is the time important? No. The experience, the action is important. She's been there. Do we care when it happened? Maybe not. The important thing is that it happened. So that's when we need to use that one, the present perfect. Okay? So let me give you an example now of all of them, and you can tell me what the difference is. Okay?
The instructor has spoken for 30 minutes.
Continue. But this one means happened in the past. So why are we using past? Remember, simple past, you focus on a finished time usually, a finished time. Present perfect, without since and for, we don't have a time. There's no time. The only time you could have, maybe if you want a time, is you could focus on how many times, like once, twice, right? 3 times. The instructor has spoken 3 times, right? The student has read a book once. Okay, so I'm going to write example. We could analyze them, right? Okay. And then you guys tell me the difference. The students have been writing. Okay, we're going to leave it a second. The students have written. The students have written for 2 weeks. And the students wrote. Okay, there's really no time here except for here. So the students have been writing. Are they still writing?
Yes.
Yes. Do we know how long?
No.
No. But we know it's still happening. We can know how long. If I want to say it's been 2 weeks, how do I do that?
The students
You just add for or since, right? Okay. The students have written. Okay, is that still continuing?
No.
It's finished. Good. That's finished. Present perfect without since and for means it's finished. Do we know when they wrote? No. And it doesn't matter. If you care about when they wrote, you need to use the simple past. You can say, the students wrote last week. If you say last week, you have to use simple past because this is a finished time. Over here, if you say last week, students have written last week, that is so ungrammatical, okay? You can't use a specific time in the past with this one, okay? You can say once, twice, 5 times. Here, the students have written for 2 weeks. Are they still writing or are they finished?
Finished.
No. Oh,
They still reading.
present perfect plus for or since means started in the past, continues. So they, yes, they are still writing. Okay. So this and this is the same.
But the first one for 2 weeks, say for 2 weeks is
This one? No, this is still happening. They have been doing it for 2 weeks. Maybe they're going to do 2 more weeks.
don't say for 2 weeks. But
If you do, it just means we don't know how long, but it means they're still doing it. They're still writing. So this one, you don't have to have the time. It always continues. This one,
Okay. So this is the video that I want to show you, but she's talking about the present perfect, and also she was talking about the past, the simple past, and the present perfect progressive. But in this session, I want to be specific with the present perfect, okay? So I hope you are not confused, because she was talking about here. So here, for example, the students has been writing for 2 weeks. So this is the present perfect progressive. It's an action verb. So we use ing at the end of the verb. But in this session, I want to be focused on present perfect, okay? So for another session, maybe we are talking about the present perfect progressive. But in this case, I want to just check the present perfect, okay? I hope you understand that we use the present perfect for actions that starts in the past and can be continuous right now. And she explained to us, let me share here, maybe here. We use the present perfect plus since or for, okay? So this is action that start in the past and continues in the present or the future. Since, we use since with a date, or for example, for 2 weeks, or I don't know, for 2 days or something like that. So we use the present perfect plus since plus for if it's the case. But we also can use a phrase without a specific time, also is valid, okay? Okay, here we have another grammar that I want to explain to you. So we use the present perfect tense to talk about experience. For example, she mentioned she has been in Rome. So this is a nice experience that she has. Okay. I have been abroad 2 times and has never broken a leg. Have you ever eaten sushi? So we use here never and ever with the present perfect tense to talk about a different kind of experience. Never or ever. So we have here, Anna has never. Never is negative, okay? Never. And ever. Have you ever eaten sushi? Okay. We use the present perfect tense to talk about an action. We start in the past and continually up to now. I have been a teacher for more than 10 years. For, we have here the explanation of the teacher, for more than 10 years. So it's a time that happens in the past and maybe she's still being a teacher, okay? We haven't seen Janice since Friday. We haven't seen Janice since Friday. Since. We use here since. How long have you been at this school? Okay. We often use since and for to say how long the action has lasted. So we use since and for. And here we use never and ever, okay? These are words that are important in the present perfect tense. We also use the present perfect tense to talk about a past action that has the results in the present. I have lost my wallet. So in this moment, I don't have it, okay? Jimmy has gone to South Africa. He isn't here now, okay? Have you finished your homework? Is your homework ready? So we use just, already, and yet with the present perfect tense for an action in the past with the result in the present. So remember these words because they are important in this kind of tense. How to form present perfect? Okay, the same thing. Let me share. Yeah. I have, you have, he has, he, she, or it has. Okay, we use has. And the third form of the verb, been, finished, gone, had, broken, seen, bought. So this is the third form of the verb, and we need to start to use it with the present perfect, okay? So I have been to Moscow. You have finished the exercise. He has just gone home. She has already had a holiday this year. It has broken. We have seen this film before. They have bought a new car. Okay? So this is a negative. I have not been abroad yet. I haven't been abroad yet. You have not answered my questions. He has not been home for 5 years. He has not or hasn't. She has not or hasn't. She hasn't found a new job. It has not finished yet. We have not worked on a farm. We haven't. Okay? So the present perfect with questions. So we change here the subject. So we start the question with have or has. Depends of the person. Have I ever done it before? Have you been to the cinema recently? Has he worked here long? Has she already sent the fax? Has it ever been in a crash? Have we done it right? Have they gone home yet? So the grammar in these questions are have or has plus the subject plus the verb in third form plus the rest of the phrase. Okay. Information. Okay, we have here the information of W questions. But I don't want to focus on this because I want to focus just in the regular present perfect plus the third form of the verb. So I don't want to start with the W questions until this topic can be understand for you, okay? So do you have any questions until now?
No, teacher, I don't have.
Teacher, sorry, I have a question about when we are use the next word, for example, already for okay, and since I understand these words, okay, but I don't know when we can use already and just is when we are talking about in the present tense in progressive.
Yes, okay. Let me explain to you again.
Okay, teacher.
It's okay. So let me try again. For example, here we have an example. She has already had a holiday this year. Already means something that is done. Okay? Already is something that is done. So she has already had a holiday this year. And it means like ella tuvo vacaciones este año. Okay? Already, it means something that is already done. But just, no. Here we have the explanation. Just. You often use just, already, and yet with the present perfect tense for an action in the past with the result in the present. So, just like solo. And we have an example.
No todo el mundo la puede lograr hoy en día. Y que en el momento que
he has just gone home. Él solo fue a casa. Can you turn your microphone off, please? So, We have here another example about just. He has just gone home. Él solo fue a casa. Just, already, and the other word was, I forget, yet, todavía. So depends of the case of the phrase, we use just, already, and yet. So remember, already is something done, yet is something like todavía, and just is solo. So we need to use this kind of words with present perfect. But let me check if we have another example here. Ever. So also we use ever. Okay, already and yet. So this is the thing that I told you before. Already means that something happened early than we expected. With the present perfect, already usually goes after have or has and before the main verb. We okay, this is a positive example. We have already had our breakfast. Already is done. Okay. When are you going to do your homework? Okay, but I have already done it. So already it means that something is done. Do you want a cup of coffee? No, thanks. I have already had one. Already it means that something is done. So you already have a cup of coffee. Okay. So yet it means something that we expect has happened or hasn't happened. We usually put it at the end of the sentences. Has the post arrived yet? Have you done your homework? Not yet. Yet it means todavía. Okay? For example, here, no todavía. Have you got ready yet? Look at the time. Okay? So we have this already before the verb. We have already had our breakfast, and here in the answer, but I have already done. Okay, here we have the verb and already and plus the verb. So we use already and after the verb in third form, and the yet word at the end. Okay, we have here the example at the end. Has the post arrived yet? So we have yet at the end of the sentences. Okay, let me check if I have for and since. Okay, she explained for and since. We use for with a period of time, for a few days, half an hour, 2 years. And since, for example, with a date, a specific date. Last year, June 8th, okay? Oh no, I don't have this example here. So remember, just, already, and yet are words that we use with the present perfect. Already, remember, is done. Yet, todavía no, todavía, maybe. And just, solo. Let me check if I have here. Oh no. We have here some examples and some games that I prepared for you. But we can start right now with making some phrases with positive, negative, and question, okay? So, for example, here, I have done it. I have started. Remember, this is the past participle, the third form of the verb. So we need to use the subject plus has or have plus the verb. So we can start working in that. Just I want to focus in simple phrases. Don't worry about the rest of the phrase. So we can start, Tito. You can start to make one phrase for me in present perfect tense, please.
Yes, teacher. You have been done it.
You have been what?
You have been done.
You have
done
been
it. You have been done it.
Okay, yes. What about you, Diana? Diana, you can bring me one example, please?
She's in here in this moment, teacher.
Okay.
She's leaving.
Okay, what about you, Carlos?
Okay, the teacher, Lina, has learned dance, the present perfect in this class.
Okay, very good. Tito, another example in negative form, please.
Negative form. We haven't become teacher yet.
Excellent, excellent. What about you, Carlos?
Negative form,
Yes,
teacher.
please.
I haven't watched TV.
Repeat again, please.
Okay. I haven't watched TV.
Okay, very good. What about you, Tito? With question 4, please.
Excuse me, teacher. You can repeat?
Okay, you can make another example in question form, please.
Okay. Have you bought any fruits?
Okay, very good. What about you, Carlos? In question form, please.
Have you studied harder for this lesson?
Okay, excellent. Okay, I know this topic is a little hard, but we need to focus on this grammar, and it's important to learn the vocabulary and the verbs in a different forms, okay? In present, simple past, and past participle. This is the main goal that we can do it because if we know the verb, we can explain, and the grammar also, we can explain different kind of phrases. This is just question of practicing, okay? So, Laura, can you make a positive form again, please?
Okay. I have been study French for 3 months.
Okay, very good. Okay, Diana, Can you make it in negative, please?
Okay, teacher. Negative form. She hasn't drank it beer.
She hasn't drunk a beer. Okay, very good. What about you, Laura, in question form?
Okay, in question, has she driving?
No. Remember that we are talking here about the present perfect. This is present perfect progressive. Is an action verb with ing. So you can say she hasn't. Okay, what did you say before? I forget. Sorry about that.
Is a question is, has she driving?
Had she driven? Okay, very good. Okay. Dajana, can you make a question? Another example, please?
Positive or negative?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. They have
In question.
In question. Sorry. Have they driven a red car?
Have they driven a red car? Okay, very good. So this is question of practicing this present perfect tense and make different kind of examples with a positive, negative, and question form. It's easy because the verb is in past participle, so it doesn't change. So it's just question of use the subject plus has or have, depends of the case, plus the verb in past participle. The same thing in negative. Subject plus have or has plus not plus the verb in past participle. And the question, the same thing. Has or have plus subject plus the verb in third form. Okay? So it's just question of practicing this and use after the words that we saw before. Okay? So now I have here some examples and exercise with the present perfect simple. So I want you to help me to fill the blanks. So in this case, Tito, which one is the word here?
She has called us.
Okay, good. Next question, Dayana.
Haven't.
I haven't eaten lunch yet.
Okay, I haven't eaten lunch yet. Very good. Carlos.
Okay, teacher. The train has just arrived.
Wrong, because the train is a thing. Has.
I think yes, has. The train has just arrived.
Okay, very good. Laura.
Okay. The boys have visited the city.
Okay, the boys have visited the city. Okay, very good. Tito,
She hasn't taken an umbrella.
she hasn't taken an umbrella. Very good. Dayana,
Or have you gone?
Where have you round gone?
were have or has?
Have.
Okay. Wrong, has.
Sorry.
Because they are talking about she. Okay. So, Carlos,
He has seen her this morning.
okay, very good. Laura,
George haven't been to the bank. Hasn't.
okay, very good. Yes, it's good. Carlos,
The children haven't working today.
okay, very good. Tito,
My parents haven't planned their holidays yet.
okay, very good. Dayana,
My friend has never been to Madrid.
excellent, very good. Okay, Carlos,
Has your brother left school?
has your brother left school? Very good. Laura,
Okay. Have you written the letter?
okay. Have you written the letter? Okay. Tito,
We haven't seen any snow yet.
okay. We haven't seen any snow yet. Okay. Carlos,
Spend all your money.
Have you spent all your money?
has?
Have, teacher.
I'm sorry. Have. Have you spent all your money? Okay,
Yes.
very good. Very good. Dayana,
Has drunk too much.
He has drunk too much.
he has drunk too much. Okay. Laura,
My daughter has just had dinner.
okay, very good. My daughter has just had dinner. Okay. Tito,
My mom have excuse me. My mom has never played football.
okay, very good. My mom has never played football. Carlos,
Have you ever ridden an elephant?
have or has? Sorry.
Excuse me. Have.
Sorry.
Have you ever ridden an elephant?
Okay. Have you ever ridden an elephant? Okay, very good.
Yes.
Laura,
We have already bought him a present.
okay, we have already bought him a present. Okay. Okay. So we have this exercise, and I have another here. So, okay. So we need to answer the blanks with these answers. So the first, the second, third, or fourth. Tito, which one is the first one?
What have cooked? What have you cooked?
For example, this one.
Nice try.
Okay. So we need to check the blanks with the answer also. So, for example, which one is the example for this one?
What have you done? Okay. What have you done? I have touched was worth it.
Yes. Let's check it out.
Nice shot.
It's true. Okay. So the next one, Diana.
What have you done?
We have got
I have caught a swordfish.
Okay. Let's check it out.
Nice shot.
Excellent. Okay. Laura, this one.
Have you ever
Uh,
eaten octopus?
Wait.
Yes, I yes, I have. Okay.
have eaten?
This one. This one, Laura.
One moment.
Yes.
Or
Have
this
you
one.
ever eaten octopus? Yes, I have.
No, la tercera. Have eaten, have.
Okay, let's try.
Nice shot.
Okay, half eaten half. Okay. Carlos, this one, please.
Has eaten Hammershed Sack. Yes, yes, has eaten.
The second teacher, has he eaten hammerhead shark? Yes, he has.
Okay, do you know what this means? Hammerhead shark?
Yes, he has.
Yes, but you know what this means? Hammerhead shark?
Tiburón martillo.
Yes.
Shark. Shark is shark.
Something like that. Okay. So this one or this one?
Yes, he has.
Okay, let's try.
Nice shot.
Yes, it's true. Yes, he has. Okay. Tito.
Sure. Is that okay? Is that hammerhead shark? Yes, it is.
Okay, this is
Nice shot.
a simple question. Okay, let's check it out. This one. Laura, this one.
Never cook. Great.
Laura.
One moment.
For question.
Have you ever cooked? What do you think? And which one can be the right?
I don't know.
Okay. What do you think, Tito?
Have you ever cooked ray fish? Ray fish I cook.
This one?
For question.
Let's check it out.
Nice try.
No. What about you, Diana? Which one can be the right answer?
I think that it's not cooked like fish.
This one?
No, the second.
Second.
Okay, let's check it out.
Oh, dear.
What happened?
Nice try.
No.
Third question.
What about you, Carlos? What do you think?
I think I'm really decided with this affirmation because in any affirmation there is the personal pronouns. For example, you ask, have you ever cooked ray fish? I must answer yes or no. Yes, the third that yes, I cooked that. Yes.
Okay. So, have you ever cooked that? Yes, I cooked it.
Yes, I cooked that.
Nice try.
So, the final one.
I
Have you ever cooked lobster? No, I haven't. So let's check it out. This one has to be
Lobster.
Nice shot.
Y esa era la que había pensado en un principio, pero no sé qué es un lobster. It can be.
It seems ray fish.
What is in lobster?
Langosta.
Langosta, yes. But in the draw, it's something different. Yes, that is why maybe we are confused because it's not a lobster in the draw on the picture. So let's check it out another one. Okay, Tito, what about this one?
Have you ever found a skit? I have never found or something. Have you ever found a skit? Squid. Yes, I have found.
Let's check it out. No. What about you, Diana? What did you think?
Yes, but just one time.
Okay, let's check it out.
Nice shot.
Yes, it's true. Yes, but just one time.
Game over.
Okay, we lose. Sorry about that. Okay, this is a game that I prepared for you today. And we have another here. This is how to make phrases use the present perfect. So we can start, Laura.
Okay. Is affirmation?
I don't know.
¿Sí?
I think so.
Bueno,
so you need to organize these words to make a phrase in the right order. Okay.
Okay. Someone.
Okay.
Has. No, just.
Okay.
Someone just has stolen my bicycle.
Okay, let's check it out.
And sign.
Okay, let's check it out. No. Okay, it's like I have someone correct. Has. So has.
And the someone has just stolen.
I cannot move it.
No question.
Ah, what happened?
Pero es una.
Has someone just stolen my bicycle like this?
No, yo decía que someone has because isn't a question or no.
No, it's not a question. It's like affirmative.
Affirmation. Someone has just stolen my bicycle.
Someone has just stolen my bicycle. Looks like you got it. Yes, it's true. It's like that. Someone has just stolen my bicycle. It's good. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. What happened? I have a problem here.
Next game.
Check.
Next game.
What's next game?
No, but I don't know. Let me check. Yes, it's true. Sorry about that. Okay, next one, Dayana. This is a question, okay? So be careful.
Okay. Have
phone and your
have no, sorry. You have
no, it's question.
Have you
yes
a new found apartment yet?
Had you found?
I'm sorry. I'm very slow. Sorry about it. Okay, have you found new apartment yet? What do you think, Carlos? Is correct?
No, that's incorrect because the indefinite article is between the verb. Yes, I say it's better. Have you found a new apartment yet? Yes,
okay, yes.
It's okay.
Okay, remember this yet always is at the end of the question. Okay, or
the first.
Let's check it out. Yes, it's true. So remember, always we have or has plus the subject plus the verb in third form. Okay, yes, it's true. So we have another game here, Tito.
Okay. I has little improved her to really English. Wow. Her English. Has improved her has improved excuse me, has improved really her English a lot of lately.
Lot.
A lot. lately.
That doesn't change
Oh,
like this.
yes.
Has improved really her English a lot lately. Okay, let's check it out. No.
Wow.
Okay. The first word is her.
The first.
So,
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's the
Affirmative.
subject of- Okay, let's check it out. Oh, I have here the
Her
point.
has improved really English a lot of languages.
Her has improved really English a lot lately. Let's check it out. No. What do you think, Laura?
So, her English.
Her
has improved.
is
Her English.
lately. No sé, pensaba que era como lo había puesto en primer lugar.
Okay, I
Her
think,
English, but I don't know.
Tito, what do you think again?
Her English has improved.
I'm
Has
sorry.
improved. Oh, yes.
Her
Has improved really a lot lovely. I think this is the
Okay,
poem.
let's check it out. No.
No.
Still, we have something here that is not
Really?
good. Carlos, what do you think? Carlos.
Her English has improved a lot lately, really.
Okay, her English has improved a lot
Lately, really.
lately, really. No.
I can try.
Diana, what do you think?
Okay, I think that is her English has really improved a lot lately.
Her English has improved really.
Okay, her English has really improved a lot lately. Yes, Diana, very good.
Okay.
It's just question of organize the words because here we have really a lot lately. So it's we need to focus on the words. Okay, let's check out another one. Carlos, this one is long.
He's now since school.
Very long, teacher.
Don't worry. If we are wrong, we can organize it again. Okay.
David and his wife.
David, what?
And his wife.
And his wife
have
known. Oh, sorry.
Each other.
Other.
Ever since high school.
Ever
Since high school.
high, sorry, high school. Sorry. Ay, ay, ay. I have a point here. Ah! Okay. Fine. Okay, David and his wife have known each other ever since high school. Let's check it out. Yes, good. So it's just question of organize the words that they want to tell. So we have here subjects, both of them. We have the verb have and the other verb in third form, okay? And plus the continuation of the present. So we have another one. Okay, Dayana, it's a question, so be careful.
¿Es a question and answer o es así?
It's a question and it's like positive.
Okay. Have games how finished have games of finished so far many duties.
Okay, remember, subject, have or has is good. Subject, what is my subject here?
You.
Thank you. You. I said. So, we have you
Finished.
Finished
These games.
So we have subject and the verb in third form. But what about the rest?
These
Have
games. How many?
¿Puedo venir al principio?
Okay.
Yes, can be how.
No. How many?
How?
How many?
What else, Laura?
Many?
Yes.
How many?
How many? Oh, sorry. This game I don't like. Oh, if I can put this. Okay. How many? So we need to change this again.
To finish this game.
I think how many?
No.
Games. What do you think? How many games have you finished so far? But what about this? And this
so far.
How many of these games?
Okay, how many of these?
Have you finished so far?
Have you finished so far? Okay. Ah! No, I hate this game. Okay, how many of these games have you finished so far? So if this is a question with how many?
¿Cuántos?
Exactly. So let's check it out. Yes, we have it. Okay.
Okay. So far.
Okay, let's see. Okay, this is just question of practicing and practicing this topic because this topic is a little confusing for us. It's just question of remember the subject plus have or has plus the verb in full form. So it's just question of practice. So far, Tito, what do you think about this session?
Teacher, I have I need more games to learn this 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 wow
Topic.
This topic, yes.
Yes.
Today is very difficult for me.
It's okay, don't worry. For all of us, I think this topic is really hard, but we need to figure out and we need to start to use this present progressive and present perfect, sorry, and we need to focus in the grammar also. And remember, we need to start to use the verb list. I will send you by email the presentation of today and the list of some regular and irregular verbs, and you can start to practice, and also you can start to memorize this kind of verbs in regular and irregular, because also we need to use it. So we use the frequently some verbs, but we need to start to practice and learn another ones, okay? So what do you think, Diana, about this session?
Its session was 30, and I think was a bit a bit hard, but I understand something things.
Okay, this is the goal of this session. Try to understand the grammar and how is the process, how can we make the process with the correct grammar, okay? So focus on this and don't forget to learn the verbs. What do you think, Carlos, about the session for today?
So teacher, I think this session it was really useful because we can use this topic for many important events when we are want to improve our skills in English speaking and writing. Okay, and I think. Particularly you teacher, you taught us this topic very well. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yes, I know this topic is a really tough topic, complicated for us, but also we need to start to use it. So you can practice with your notebook, start to write positive, negative, affirmative words and phrases with this present perfect, and I know that you become a better day by day, okay? Thank you so much. I hope you like the session, and I will send you this video plus the presentation in Word, okay? So thank you so much. I hope you have a good day.
Okay, teacher, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, teacher. You too. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.